being recorded.
What's up? Magic Mike in that mix, tuned to the Magic Show Deluxe. We are syndicated everywhere. We got an artist international. We're everywhere. We got people coming all over the world on the Magic Show Deluxe. We got an artist all the way from Berlin, Germany. He goes by the name of Meeco, and he's got a single, That Boy, featuring DJ Access and Rix. What's going on, Meeco?
Hey, good to see you. How's it going?
Oh, it's going great, man. I love your setup back there. You're in a studio. Is that your own personal studio? And you got your little you
Yes,
got your
it
little
is.
daughter in the background too.
Yeah, she was
Yeah,
curious. She was
yeah,
speaking
yeah.
in.
You're on Canadian radio, Canadian TV show. You're everywhere right now, right? So you got a single, That Boy. You know what I mean? You're a renowned producer. You know what I mean? You're a duo. You know what I mean? You and DJ Access. How did you and DJ
Exactly.
Access meet? How'd you all meet?
It's actually a funny story. I was supposed to release an album a couple of years ago, and I had trouble with the label back at the time. So a friend of mine introduced me to DJ Access, who also runs the label, actually. So he helped me putting out that record as a record label, basically. And then when he listened to my stuff, he was like, "Oh, damn, can let's do something together?" And I was like, "Hell yeah!" So we released that album. We Run It, I think it was last year, featuring artists like Inspector Deck from Wu-Tang Clan,
I had
Fred
it. We got
from
Fredro Starr.
Alex,
Mm-hmm.
Lil Fame from MOP, Havoc from Mobb Deep. So it was basically an all-star cast, and we were just following our dreams. We love '90s hip hop, and all these cats are our heroes, basically. So
I find, I was talking to an artist, right? And he's boom bap, and he was telling me out in Europe, you guys are loving it. You know what I'm saying? It
oh
seems
yeah.
it's different out here. You know what I mean? We like to drill too much out here. Okay. But I find you guys are still like all the 90s rappers are still getting jobs out there. That's
True.
incredible.
It's
Incredible.
very true. It's very true.
Yeah.
Boom bap is still going very strong in Germany. I mean, obviously you have all genres, and I must say, I grew up in the '90s with '90s hip hop, so I love that kind of genre. The younger generation, obviously, they're more into modern hip hop, trap and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course. Now let's talk about your upbringing in Germany. Were you born and raised in Berlin?
Yes, I was. I was. I'm a true Berliner. I'm also half French, so I also spent some time in Paris. So yeah, I'm pretty European basically.
And Berlin's always had a strong hip hop following, always. Even in the old 80s hip hop videos, they're
Sure,
touring Berlin, you know what I mean?
for
Like
sure.
you had all the classic historical artists come to Berlin. It was incredible. I haven't been there. I want to go there, right? So how much has the city changed now in as far as urban music from the time you started to now?
Well, Berlin always has an edge and always will have and maintain that kind of extra edginess. Um, uh, but it's true that Berlin has changed over the last 20 years. Like in the 80s and 90s, Berlin was still a pretty rough city. There were neighborhoods where you shouldn't go to unless you're local. No, it's has become a more nicer city. Um, but it still has maintained this strong flavor for music. I mean, Berlin is well known, especially in the house scene, techno scene, electronic music, but also obviously in the hip hop scene.
And software too, FL Studio, Steinberg,
That's
you know
right.
what? Now, this is amazing, okay? I want to tell you something, okay? Germany, I want to tell you guys give me some of the best programs. I started with FL Studio, which is called Fruity Loops 2.0 in
Yes,
1999.
yes, indeed.
1999, okay? Everybody out here, all the old time rock and roll guys, like, oh, that program, that's not going anywhere. I used to take the wave files, the loops, and bring them over to Cubase.
Right,
Okay,
right, right.
so they intertwine after, right? So
Yes.
I see the analog in back of you, motif and all that. Now, are you using FL Studio or Steinberg at all with your analog
Well,
equipment?
I'm a really analog nerd, I would say. So I try to keep it as analog as possible. So I even have like, multi-tape recordings, 8 tracks, 4 tracks, reel-to-reel. I have an analog mixing board. So I try to keep it as analog as possible to keep that analog vibe and touch. But then when it comes to tracking out into the DAW, which, at one point, you have to do it.
But I'll say right now, it's incredible, right? FL Studio, right? A lot of people like they use it for all this drill stuff, but I used it for boom bap, right?
Mhm.
And I show some of my old beats to some producers, and they're like, "What are you using?" I go, "I'm using FL Studio." Yeah, right. Sounds like that. I go, "Yeah," but you can't get the experience of analog unless you're using analog. I get what you're saying. Once you go analog, you can't go back. That's what a lot of
Yeah.
people say. It's very
I
hard.
mean, it really depends. I agree that the workflow might be faster when you use modern equipment. But for me, it's not about being fast. It's about the sound, it's the sonic qualities, and the whole process. So, if you have time, then I would just go analog. If you're in time pressure, then, digital and all the software plugins, etc., might be the better choice.
I want to say big ups to Snow Goons, right? How do you know Snow Goons? Because I got your records. Every time you come out with something, he's always giving me all the records that are coming out of Germany. And he actually distributes a lot of underground hip hoppers from this side of the world too as well. How'd you meet up at Snow Goons?
For sure. No, we're all friends. It's a small scene here in Germany, especially when it comes to boom bap, and they're also doing a lot of international collaborations. So we're more or less in the same boat. So we know each other. Especially DJ Access is very close with them. They're also doing DJ gigs together. We're more or less from the same city, Berlin, Dresden. So it's a small scene. After a couple of years, you know each other.
Of course,
And,
of
and,
course.
and we appreciate each other. I mean, big up to Snowbones, respect.
How was it working with Havoc? Because he's another producer,
Yes.
right? We loved, Shook Ones. We loved the infamous album. You know,
Legendary.
Benzino said that was the first gangster East Coast song, the first gangster East Coast song. I disagree. You had Cool G rap. I consider that gangster, and that was way before, But to
Right.
work with Havoc, how was that? And I know he came to Europe recently on his tour.
Yeah, actually, we hang out together backstage. Was a great concert. It was like 3 weeks ago, I think, 3 or 4 weeks ago. And Fame from MOP was there as well as a surprise guest. So that was really nice. I mean, those cats, first of all, they're all professionals. I mean, they're really the best of the best, And of course, when you send a beat to Havoc, you're like,
Yeah,
what is he gonna say,
yeah. Did you
But,
send him? Did you send him more than one beat, or you just
no,
send him
just
one?
that one.
Okay.
Just,
And when he
just that
heard
one.
it, he loved it.
He liked it, and
Yes.
he jumped on it. So, and then just a few words to Lil Frame from MOP. I mean, he is like the most professional, perfectionist, and really inspiring rapper I have met in a long time. I mean,
Yes.
I've been with him in the studio a couple of times, and it was just impressive. I mean,
Hmm.
we were in 2025 today, and he's still going so strong. He's amazing.
Yes. Yes. What's your social media, Meeco?
It's Meeco_music. Meeco Music.
And that's everywhere, all platforms, all social
Yes,
media.
yes, correct.
So your single That Boy featuring Ricks and you got DJ Access on that. Let's talk about the creation of this one.
Hmm.
Now that studio you're sitting in, right?
Yes.
That's the starting of your baby right there, isn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, everything starts basically here.
So you
You
don't
know,
go anywhere else. So it's your production. So you don't take your production out to another studio or everything's just done there.
well, the composing, producing part is done here, and then when it goes to mixing, mastering, it goes somewhere else.
Okay, I
So
thought you did everything in-house. Okay,
we,
okay.
we have a good team around us. It's really a fantastic team. So our guy Aiko Road, he's mixing all of our songs. He's just amazing. He's a really amazing mixing engineer. And then all the mastering is done by HP Mastering in Hamburg, who's also amazing. So we try to keep the same team, keep the same sound. But when it comes to beats, all is done here, either on the MU SP1200 or the MPC60, or
Hold on, I'm going to stop you right there. You're still using an SP1200, which people are starting to use again, and Emu is actually redoing
awesome.
SP1200, so you
Yes,
can put USB sticks into it
I
now and things
know,
of
I
that
know,
nature.
I know.
How's
But
your
I still have the original.
SP1200? Is yours original? The
Yes,
original?
yes. I
Okay.
still use floppy disk.
You can't beat the 8-bit or 4-bit, right?
No, that one is it's 12-bit, and it's the grittiness you get from pitching down samples in the SP1200 is you cannot match it with any software plugin or any other sampler. It's just
What about
immediately.
Akai? What about the Akai? You know what I mean? You don't deal with the Akai too? MPC?
Oh yeah, I got the MPC60, the 2500. I have the Insonics, all the Insonics, EPS 16, the RSR 10. All the classic gear. And it's like having a huge box with different tools, and depending on the idea, on the song, on the project, I use the one or the other tool, basically.
Yeah, we got off course there, right? So obviously during the making of your track, That Boy, this is kind of the process right here. Why'd you want to get Ricks on it?
Oh, he's a legend. I mean, Boston underground legend, and we have worked with other people from that area in the past. Big Shook was on my first record. Terminology is a good friend. He's been on many other records. So asking Rex to join us was just a logical step.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you on. I know you're 7 hours ahead of us. You probably want to. Did you eat dinner yet?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I just
Yeah?
I just had pizza with my little one.
Nice, nice. Now, if we were to go down to Berlin, okay, and I want to have a great time as a hip hop, you know, fan, influencer, whatever you want to
Right,
call it,
right.
where can I go? Where would I go to have a good time? As soon as I get off
Oh,
the plane, I'm at my hotel room. Now I want to get a couple drinks. Where would I want to
well,
go?
first of all, you got to give me a call, and then we hang out.
Yeah, I gotta check in. Of course I'm gonna check in with the snow goons and you all. I can't just go to Germany. I know that already. You know what I mean? I'm talking about the average person. You know what I'm saying? You don't want the whole world coming to see you. Oh, of course, man. As soon as I touch ground, if I ever touch ground in Berlin, I'll be calling Snow Goon. I say, get the squad, get Meeco, people I
Yeah,
haven't met, get them together. And that's how it goes. Me, my squad, we and your squad, we chill, you know?
exactly,
I mean,
exactly.
what do
No,
you want
so
to
there's an area called Raw, RAW, and there are a bunch of different clubs, one to each other, next to each other, and they all play hip hop and different kind of music, and it's a very very hip area. It's in Kreuzberg, which is one of the most famous places or areas in Berlin. It's called Kreuzberg, and this is where a lot of the clubs are. And I think that would be a good starting point.
Awesome. Anything you want to say to the up and coming producers right now that are scared to go into the analog? They don't want to learn anything new. They want to stay with the fruity FL Studio.
Look, I think just be open and experiment. But I must say, I mean, I have met a lot of young and talented producers, and actually, they're just doing their thing. It's impressive. Sometimes it's really impressive. I mean, I had a producer the other day in my studio. He never had a vinyl in his hand. He was like, "Oh, can I touch the vinyl?" But then when I listened to his music, I was like, "Damn!"
Yeah, yeah. It sounds like it should be on vinyl, right?
Yeah,
And another thing too, I want to say to you, right, is that when you're producing, okay, you know that's going to be on vinyl, right? So you
yeah,
try and you don't want to have it digitized too much. Because when I used to buy vinyl when digital production came in, I could hear it's the same thing as MP3. I'm like, it's not supposed to sound like that. Very thin. You want your vinyl, you want that sound thick. Do you actually thicken sometimes
right.
your track? You thicken your tracks a lot because you know it's going to be pressed on vinyl, correct? Or
I mean, it's part of the mixing and of the mastering process, basically. So
But no,
during
no.
the
But when you
mixing,
make a beat, sometimes you hear a beat. Certain tracks were made for vinyl. You understand? You
right,
know what I mean, right?
right,
Like, do you
right.
ever get inspired? Sometimes they're like, "Okay, I know this track's gonna be on vinyl, so I
Oh
really
yeah.
got to do this
I mean,
up."
I
You
mean,
know?
you know, when you select your beats anyway to create an album, you pick the ones you think which are classic. You want to listen to in 10 years and be proud of it, and like, damn, you know.
Yeah. Exactly. And when you buy something on vinyl, you know it's going to be in your collection, sitting there, and anytime you want to take it out, you put it on the turntable.
Exactly. And you
Well,
want to be proud of it, and then give it to someone as a gift, and like, listen to that, you know.
that's right. Now that boy, you got a video for that? Is there a
Yeah,
music video?
actually, we were shooting a video. Or Rex was shooting a video, and we were editing here. And we just put it out on our platforms and on YouTube last week. And you know, it's I would say it's a simple lo-fi video, but it meets the vibe, and you know, provides some visuals to the audience.
Well, this is a visual show, right? And the audio will be on radio, whatever we're gonna put it. But I want to play this video, that boy.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Meeco, it's a pleasure to have you on, right? Is there anything you wanted, anything else that we're missing right now?
Man, just go ahead, go to Spotify, listen to our music, listen to our new singles, and just, you know, follow us and subscribe, and be surprised of our next moves.
All right. And one other thing, how is Germany right now? Right? How is it? Because over here on the because we got tariffs going on over here. What's going on over in Germany, man? Same thing? The tariff wars?
Look, I don't want to get in politics, but it's a catastrophe.
It's a catastrophe right now, and hip hop keeps us going. You know what I'm saying? Well, we're gonna cut it right there. I want to thank you once again, Meeco. Everybody's laughing right now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, my bro. I want to thank Snow Goons too as well. Keep it coming, and we'd love to have you on again.
DJ Access as well, and thank you, Magic Mike.
Yes, big ups to MJ as well. Yes, big ups to everybody. All right, thank you so much, my bro.
Take care.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay,
Bye.
all right, one.
Don't forget that boy, Rex. Don't forget that boy. No gimmicks. Don't forget they coming with me as a few guns. Don't forget that boy, Rex. Was a child of the hood. I see you walking in my shoes. Don't forget that boy. Don't forget that boy, 25th hour gift, not a gift or a meme. What I mean, I insist y'all resist this intent to switch up, switch light above, praying to give ears. Idea brewing this, I get tears spewing with near Luna moving miss me with the misrepresentation, gooniness in the pit of my belly, daily grind in the grit. God is in the body, in the mind is equipped for the back forth, the ebb flow. My rap flow exceptional, he lethal with access and Meecos, amigos from East Coast to UK. Baton toss a bouquet, the Don thoughts Il Duce. Access power to spray, 2K, 24 karat through millennium. If any waste a penny of my thoughts, then I'm in them. Careers that is, no peers that is. If there's beats to destroy, don't forget that boy. Don't forget that.